Alright, we've got a 2014 Ford Focus. This is a titanium with the automatic transmission. Daughter was driving it a few days ago and it died in the middle of the road. It's not the first time it's happened, but first time with these symptoms. We had it towed home. With the hazards turned on, the right side hazards did not light up, left side did. The windows would not roll up and down. The code reader would not power up, so I couldn't pull codes on it. So I started pulling fuses out of the main fuse box, checked them all, they were all good, put them back in, and that rebooted the system. Car fired back up, no misfire, no problems, ran just fine. Pulled codes, there was a couple pending codes, but nothing dramatic, no set codes. Took it on a couple of test drives, it drove fine, parked it for about an hour, came back out to check something else, and it was dead again. Unlock wouldn't work, it wouldn't start. If you turn on the parking lights, they would light up, but you turn on the headlights, everything would go dark on the dash. And then if you turn on the hazards, only the left-hand side was flashing again. So started playing around with it and found that there's a secondary fuse panel on the front of the battery box here, and there's usually this cover over it, and I found that pushing and pulling on this would cause an intermittent connection, and then just holding it just right, all the flashes would start flashing and the car actually started up, and I was able to move it over to this spot and park it again before it stopped working again. So today I pulled the air box out and pulled the front cover off of here, and I've done some continuity checks and voltage checks and found that the last fuse right here, it's a 50 amp fuse, and this last spot right here has a break in it. It's not a burned out fuse, it's a mechanically broken fuse. Looks like it's just from this fuse panel vibrating and moving. It put a load through that wire and broke it. So under certain conditions, when it was the right temperature, that it would make contact and get a little bit of juice through it, but reduced voltage because of restrictions. And then when it heated up, it would flex this plate enough that it could break the connection, or while you're driving it could break the connection. So I traced it down. I'm about to put a new fuse in it, but this seems to be the cause of the problems. While I had it out, and based on some other videos and reading I've done, I've heard that this ground point here can be an issue, so I took it apart and cleaned it and put some deoxit grease on there. I also pulled off all the connections on the other fuses in here, sprayed some deoxit spray in them. I'll let that dry, and I've snugged all those back down, and I rechecked resistance across all those fuses, made sure they're all still good, and they are. And there's two more ground points down here underneath the air box. This one back here is the main engine block ground, and this one goes to various PCMs and stuff like that in the wiring harness. I pulled both of those off, sprayed deoxit inside the crimps, cleaned the connections, put deoxit grease on the threads and on all the connection points, and torqued those back down. So about to put a new fuse in here, and hopefully our problems go away. Okay, I got it buttoned up here, put the new fuse in, buttoned up the little fuse panel there, put the air box back in, everything's snugged down. Go ahead and check the air cleaner while I had it out. It's fine. I'm going to go ahead and lower the hood here. Well, better get that in the right spot. Alright. That way, hopefully the remote start will work. I'm going to do this, and there we go. We're up and running. So I just wanted to add a couple of notes here. I mentioned earlier that this car has stalled before and died on the road. My daughter had it out of state about 6 or 8 months ago. She was driving to work early in the morning in high humidity environment, and it stumbled and died in the middle of the road. We had it towed to a dealership, and the number 1 coil was burned out, as well as one of the fuses. I think it was 38, but I'm not sure about that. After that took a couple weeks to get that fixed, got it back to her, and about a week later she was driving to work in the morning again, and it did exactly the same thing a second time. It died in the middle of the road, had to call a tow truck, towed it back to the same dealer. The same ignition coil had burned out a second time, same fuse had burned out again. They didn't find anything else wrong with it at all. I had them replace the spark plug just to make sure it wasn't a broken spark plug, causing a problem. They actually did that the first time, so that wouldn't explain the second one burning out. So she got it back, and it's been working for about 6 months now, and this was the first time it had died since then. So yeah, we've had 2 number 1 coils burn out on it, as well as the PCM fuse burned out on it both times, and now this current problem. And if you go back a couple of years, we had the transmission control module issue as well, and had to sit at the dealership for months while we waited for that to come in. So this is the 4th time it's died. It is remotely possible that this power problems may be tied to what happened 6 months ago with the ignition coil. But we'll be driving it here and testing it, and hopefully replacing this fuse with the one that had intermittent contact and probably decreased current flow. Hopefully that fix now will get us back on the road and reliable again. Fingers crossed. Thanks. Alright, just to wrap this video up, I just took the car out for a test drive. It drove great. In fact, the transmission shifting has never been this smooth. It is way better than it has been in a very long time, if ever. And yeah, that may be because I've improved the power supply and the ground. Of course, it could be because it's relearning everything because the PCM was unplugged for a while. But still, it's driving great. It feels great. Yeah, hopefully this will be it. I'll update if we have more problems with it. Good luck.